Hey everyone, it's Dinah, and we are back with some more of Marvel's Moon Knight, this time on to episode number 4 of the season. This one is said to be a big one, I think WandaVision, Falcon, Loki, What If, What If, I think seemed a bit more spontaneous, but I think the other ones that had like a bit more of like a more noticeable kind of story to them. I think they were kind of like, they had pretty groundbreaking kind of fourth episodes, and I think this one is being said to be no different. I think the fourth episode is, being rumored to, blow people's socks off and to go trending big time and everything. So, not to be going in with any expectation set in place, but I'm kind of now left with like high hopes and really kind of like just like a really open mind as per usual. So yeah, but the episodes so far have been nothing short of great. They've been really enjoyable, and they've been really kind of really continuing the story at like a really comfortable pace and revealing lots of cool stuff and showcasing Moon Knight in a really cool light, no pun intended. But yeah, no, I think episode 4 is said to be a pretty big one, so can't wait to see what they got in store. But yeah, last time we had episode number 3, of course, and last time we met the gods. We met the different kind of gods of the Egyptian Ennead and everything. I think one of the names I actually missed out was I think I got Osiris and Isis. I think there was another one. I think to do with like an eye. I think what is it like the eye of is it Anubis? I think there was another name. I even went through caught it again in editing, and now I've forgotten all over again. I think there was another thing is like the eye of Horus. I think the eye of Horus, like the famous kind of Egyptian eye icon and everything in hieroglyphs and stuff. I think that's the Eye of Horus. I think Horus was there too. So I think we met other gods of the Ennead. As well as their avatars too. So we met the avatar of Hathor and Osiris and Isis and Horus, and I don't think we actually met their the avatars there that were actually present and everything. So that was cool, and they held like a trial of Mark versus Arthur, and actually and Khonshu through Mark accusing Arthur of trying to resurrect DinahMight and breaking that seal of the gods and everything. So then they went through the trial, but then he was found to be innocent because he said no, I didn't do it. So they were like, oh great, well he must be innocent then. But then Arthur turns the tables and actually accuses Mark of having the ID, and then all of a sudden it's like, oh, we just can't trust this guy who will probably say anything and who will probably conjure up any identity to try and get what he wants or say what he wants. So then then they didn't punish Mark, but they decided they just couldn't trust him or trust his word because of what Arthur revealed that he then has and everything. So that happened. But then I think it was Yazil, the avatar of Hathor, actually then revealed the kind of the what was it? I think the sarcophagus of one of the other gods. I think one of the other gods. I think no. I think yeah. I think the sarcophagus was it a sarcophagus of God? I think. I can't remember. I think she led him to Anton Mogart, who was a collector of similar-ish to Layla. He was a collector of artifacts too, but then he actually wanted to preserve the kind of sanctity of them and the actual value and the actual historical value of them and everything. So he had actually worked with her before in Madripoor, so he actually got that name drop. So that led Mark and Layla to Anton, who was played by Gaspard Ulliel. I think he was a French actor. I got it wrong. He was French, not German. So he debuted in that episode. But I think whether or not he's gonna come back and he actually has any more stuff left that he actually did film and produce for the show, we've yet to see. But we were introduced to him, Anton Morgan. I think apparently he's also Midnight Man. He's also like an actual in the comics. He's actually like an enemy of Moon Knight. He's the Midnight Man. So. I mean, if they do have more, that'll be cool to see. But then I think, given that the actor has now passed, I think it's going to be kind of curious to actually see what they do end up doing with the actor, with the character, if they don't get rid of him in this show as a whole. So I guess we'll find out soon enough. But it led them there, and they found the sarcophagus, and then that kind of went awry when Arthur showed up again, and he was still he was obviously still kind of enacting plans to unlock our meat and everything. So then one thing led to another. Moon Knight showed up, and then it was a fight, and then I think by the end of the episode they actually kind of pieced the puzzle back together and actually kind of used the stars and everything, and then actually rewinded the sky, which was once again, the gods actually warned Khonshu, because I think the first time Khonshu summoned an eclipse to get a meeting with the gods, and the gods warned him, like, if you mess with the sky again, then we'll have no choice but to imprison you. So then he did. He rewinded the night sky. and brought the old kind of 2,000-year-old stars back and everything, and then they did it. They actually kind of they then carved him into stone and trapped his spirit in there, and then that kind of took the Moon Knight powers away from Mark and Steven. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see if we now go forth into this episode. I mean, obviously, like now they have to actually kind of free Khonshu to actually get the powers back. But I think it'll be interesting seeing Mark and Steven and potentially Jake as well, without the powers of Moon Knight. And I think speaking of Jake, I think people then actually kind of clocked Jake actually making some subtle and surprise appearances. And I think I didn't fully discount it. I just thought maybe because I kind of knew next to nothing about Jake besides from him being a cab driver. I thought, maybe he's not exactly the violent one, but then it turns out no, he's actually the fully violent one. I think Mark is the mercenary, so then he knows how to survive using violence, and then Steven is the one who's like pretty much like a pacifist and everything, but then Jake is the one with the full-on violent tendencies, and then he also happens to be a cab driver. So Jake Lockley actually made a few kind of appearances. So every time Mark blacked out, but then Steven didn't get a chance to shine through, that was Jake coming through and Jake killing them, and actually Jake terrifying those that group of men and everything. So Jake is slowly edging his way into the show and into the season and everything. So it'll be interesting to finally meet him and see how he fits into all this. If he's just going to be like another person, if he's going to be another alter. I actually learned that alters are actually what the different identities and personalities are called. So then it'll be cool to see if he's just like another alter that lives within him, or if he's actually going to be actually fitting into this puzzle in some way. Because I think Mark is the mercenary, and he's the one who was initially given the Moon Knight mantle and everything, and then Steven is the actual kind of he's the historian out of all of them, and so then it'll be cool to see exactly what kind of value kind of Jake brings, not what kind of value, but I think what kind of skills and exactly like how much of a role in this kind of whole story of Khonshu versus Amit that Jake brings to this, and exactly what kind of dynamic he's going to bring to all three alters being kind of in one body as well. So it'll be interesting. So yeah. So I also did actually manage to do like a brief kind of bit of research into the actual comic history of Moon Knight as well, and I think kind of linking into a bit of research about the DID too, about how DID is actually a result of childhood trauma. And I think I read on the actual Marvel wiki page that when he was a kid, I think I can't remember exactly how it went now. I think I read it like once, and it was just kind of it was actually shocking enough to read. But then I read it once, and it was like I think someone his dad knew assumed like a Nazi deserter. I think it was like a Nazi deserter who actually adopted the identity of his dad, or like his friend's dad, but then his dad was also the only one who knew the guy's true identity, so then he killed him and then ran away with Mark and his mother, I think it was, and then so then they fled the country and went somewhere else. But then I think the guy, I think it was that guy who actually he still had like a tendency or like this kind of killing spree of Jewish people or something, and then Mark actually walked in on him one day torturing or killing like an innocent Jewish man, and then that kind of scarred him for life, and that's actually where it was one. So I think again it was a very brief read. I could be like the details can very obviously kind of be misplaced and misunderstood, but I think it was like a very brief read of that one paragraph on the Marvel wiki page, but yeah, apparently that's actually, and I think Mark is also actually Jewish. Like Mark Spector is a canonically Jewish character with a Jewish background and everything. So they haven't really worked that into this as of yet. I'm not sure if they're going to reference it anytime soon. But I think that they haven't really talked anything about exactly how his DID came to be. I think it would be cool if we actually could maybe if this could be with this one with Khonshu out of the way. Maybe if this could be the actual episode where we discover exactly how Mark's DID came to be and how exactly what he saw, like if they keep the exact same trauma, or if they actually kind of, I think the trauma itself kind of seems pretty important to maintain, and like the actual type of trauma it was and exactly what he saw and everything like seems pretty important to his character and his background to kind of maintain. So it'll be cool to actually see them explore what kind of made him the way he is, and what spawned these alters and everything, and I think that's especially why I like his accent as his accent as Steve is also like a bit more all over the place too, because then Mark is not like originally American, so then he's like when he's Stephen Grant, he's like Stephen is actually actively putting on a British accent too. I think again, I mean for me it's not really terrible, because I think that is also like for me, if I heard that accent out on the street, I'd probably, yeah, I'd absolutely kind of like pass it off as British and actually register as British and everything. So, you know, especially like as a Londoner too, it's really not like a, you know, like an implausible London accent. I think the one he's doing isn't terrible, especially like if he's actually from like downtown and everything, and not like suburban or anything like that. So, you know, I think for me it's not terrible. For me, it's like something I would like noticeably register. And also, even if it did sound dodgy, I also just kind of wouldn't really care. So I don't know. But either way, it would be cool if they actually did do like an episode, or like a kind of sequence of flashbacks, kind of showing what he kind of went through as a child and exactly what kind of spawned this kind of stuff within him and everything. So yeah, but either way, I think that is background waiting to be unveiled in this, and this is an origin story, so they've got to do some background stuff at some point. So yeah, I guess we'll see. But yeah, that is pretty much all I've got from the last one. So on to episode number 4 of Marvel's Moon Knight. So yeah, let's go. Oh, there are other ones too. I think there are other gods imprisoned. Oh, how many gods have they imprisoned over the years? I think is this like the rest of the Ennead? Because there's meant to be like quite a few, like over a dozen gods in the Ennead, right? Oh, what was the plan here, Layla? Ah. Oh, block the ammo. Okay, oh, duh. Okay, Flare can block the ammo cache. Can flares do that? Can they like? I mean, I guess I think flares are like heat, right? They're just like really like high-paced heat. I guess, yeah. It's like a spark to a load of, you know, highly volatile metal, you know, bullets.
You guys made a deal that he would just disappear from my life. And you didn't think that maybe I should have been made aware of that?
Yeah, he is. Look at his face. Yeah, he is her husband. Oh, is that Baphomet? That's not Baphomet. That's a goat. That's a goat. Or is it a lamb? I don't know. I can't identify these things. Oh gosh.
It's in there somewhere. Muscle memory in that.
Yeah, I'm not sure it works that way. Just whatever.
Would it not like? Well, I guess memories would be independent to the actual altar.
Are you in love? Are you in love with my wife?
I appreciate your concern, mate. I really do.
You lay one finger on
we've
her.
got it from here.
I swear to you, Steven, I swear
If I need like a recipe for a protein shake or something, I'll call you.
Off a cliff!
Stephen being in love with. Oh god, imagine that. Stephen being in love with Mark's wife. Just, God.
You smell like him.
Like Mark.
I mean, why wouldn't you, right?
Yeah.
Mark's trying to protect you from Khonshu.
Oh!
That's why
Hey!
he's pushing you away.
Hey! Layla went for it. Layla, I think. Layla. She might have a thing for Stephen.
I don't need protection. What I need is honesty.
Being, honesty?
Yeah.
Being honesty.
Being honesty.
Oh shit. Oh shit. Oh, Stephen and Layla. Stephen and Layla. Mark is fuming. Mark is fuming. Oh damn. Stephen and Layla. Oh. Oh god.
So if they just sprang to life right now and asked me a riddle for passage, I'd be thrilled. I shit myself, but I'd be thrilled.
Like a freaking Tomb Raider or Uncharted thing.
Big history buff, is he?
Oh, so much worse. Archaeologist.
So does she get the Tomb Raider treatment then? Her father was an archaeologist and now she is?
It's a maze.
It's amazing.
Oh, for fuck's sake.
No, like there are 6 paths.
Yeah.
Would they be shooting at?
Points.
Oh, there's bullet casings. Don't tell me we're going to actually run into some mummies in here.
Pupil, sight, obviously. This point here is hearing, smell, touch, and this long line ending in a spiral.
Is that blood? Is that fresh blood? Oh, is that a mummy in the corner? But that mummy's in the walls? Sugar.
Judging by their masks and ceremonial stance, they would have been entombed in here to protect the pharaoh. And these must be some of the unlucky souls who crossed their path.
Oh, don't tell me these fuckers are gonna start coming to life.
Oh god. Is that fresh blood?
That is fresh blood, and there are bodies in the walls, and there were bullet casings. Surely this stuff should be centuries old, right? And it's been dragged up. Bodies dragged off. Oh gosh, is this gonna go? If this turns into a horror movie, I would actually be up for it. I would actually be up for it. If this turned into a horror movie or into The Mummy or something, I would actually be up for that. I shit myself, but I'd actually be up for that.
Canopic jar, snakes.
Freshly.
Self-regeneration thing. Lots of...
Didn't he call our meat like a weird crocodile lady? And there's like lizard skin. I mean, crocodiles aren't entirely lizards, but still.
What are they shooting at?
Exactly. There's some freaky mummified crap coming to life. What the fuck? That's a mummy! That's a mummy! That's a mummy! That is a fucking mummy! Oh. Oh fuck. Oh fuck. Fuck. This thing's fast. Oh fuck, this thing's fast.
I squished it. I squished it.
I don't think you squished it. I'm not entirely sure you squished it. Did you squish it? Did you squish it? Oh, a well of death. A fucking hole, a pit of death. Oh god, can she make it across? Can she just shimmy? Can she just like strafe? Can she just strafe across or something? Oh god, oh gosh, oh gosh. God, this is the mummy! It just turned into the mummy and I'm loving it. It just turned into the mummy and I'm fucking loving it. Oh, that's a tight cross. That's a very tight cross. Oh, shit, on a stick. Oh god. Oh, shit, I'll just get... Oh, tore its arm off, nice. Oh, tore one of the arms off, yeah. Oh, God. Oh, just a bone sticking out. Oh, that's it, there we go. There we go. Yeah, just push it, toss it over the side. Oh, no. She's hanging off the edge. She's hanging off the edge, right? Layla El-Faouly, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah, I don't know if that's exactly how you pronounce her last name, but yeah, Layla El-Faouly. Maybe, I don't know. Oh, that was badass. That was badass, Layla.
Oh my days.
Oh my days.
First one in.
Yeah.
Tomb fit for a pharaoh.
Absolute madness.
I think
King
we're
Tut.
looking at the long
King
lost tomb of Alexander.
Oh,
the
Alexander
Great.
the Great. Alexander the Great. Wow. I didn't know he was connected to ancient Egyptian history. Huh.
Go ahead. Floor is yours.
Not like he has much left of it anyway.
Alexander was the voice of Amit.
It's in his mouth. Oh, it's in his mouth. Oh, he's gonna unwrap the mummy. Really? An unboxing of Alexander the Great? An unwrapping?
Great.
Oh, God. Oh, God. Please don't come to life and bite his hand off.
Alright, open up.
Ah.
Mr. Great.
Sorry, Mr. Great. Yeah.
Couldn't leave us right.
Oh, God. Don't snap shut. Don't snap shut. Don't snap shut.
Reach in there, buddy.
No, easy for you, so you're the one in control. Oh. Oh, there it is. Oh, that's her model. That's her wooden model.
Can he hear me?
Oh, no.
Alexander? I don't think so. God, I hope not.
Oh, gosh.
What?
My partner got greedy and he executed everyone at the dig site.
His partner executed. How good of a mercenary is he still? Oh! Oh, Jesus. Oh! Oh no! Mark? Oh! Oh, in the water. Into the water. Oh god. Oh god, shot again. Khonshu can't save him this time though, can he? Maybe this time because he dies under our meat's avatar. Could that have some kind of effect? What's that light? Is that moonlight? Is that moonlight? No, that's a flashlight. That's a flashlight.
You're Dr. Stephen Grant.
Whoa. This is Stephen Grant. Oh, the personality that Stephen is based off of, yeah. This is like a mental health institute. Yeah, this has to be like an institute of some kind.
How you doing today,
So like
Donna?
maybe Mark was institutionalized. Wait,
Bloody O's.
Donna?
This is beautiful.
That's
Very
Khonshu.
impressive.
Okay, what is happening here? You can't tell me this entire story's been a lie so far. Like he's just been imagining everything happening.
Okay.
He's in limbo, maybe. He's in limbo because he's been shot. So maybe he's in limbo.
This week.
That's the only way this could be possible.
It's a
Yeah,
lot.
he's in like a mental limbo. Oh, oh, yeah, that's a Moon Knight action figure. And he's strapped to the wheelchair. He's strapped to the wheelchair. Yeah. Oh damn. I think that feels like a makeshift one, a makeshift action figure. Yeah.
I took the liberty of borrowing the film you brought.
Oh, is Harrow a doctor?
It was
Tomb
fun to see
Buster.
that my old VHS player still worked.
Oh, is Harrow the doctor in his head?
I can't help you if you don't help yourself.
You can't save people that don't want to be saved. Yeah.
I know what you're feeling.
This is him being trapped in his own head, isn't it? This is him trapped in his own head. Oh gosh. Oh gosh. Oh, the same detectives.
Don't hurt him, alright?
Oh, God. Oh, biting. Wow. Biting. What room is this? What room is this? Oh. Stephen? Stephen! That's Stephen. Oh. Steven and Marc. Oh gosh.
Harrow shot us.
Oh, they're reunited in their own minds.
Exactly.
Reunited in their own mind. Can they find Jake? That's gotta be Jake. That's gonna be Jake, yeah. Oh, it's upright and it's dark red and it's fucking dark as hell. That one's gonna be Jake. That one has to be Jake, just bursting to get out. Oh god, this is so cool. Mark and Steven actually, you know, if only in their mind can they have separate bod. What? You ended there with a friendly hippo? God? Oh my god. Oh lord. Oh, that was that was intriguing. That was an intriguing ending. Yeah. That was an intriguing ending, if anything, yeah. Oh god, that was a good one. That was a good one. That was a good one. Wow. Okay, yeah, I liked that one. That was a really good one. That was a really good episode. A really, really good episode. You know, I think easily my favorite part. My favorite part has to be them actually discovering that mummified kind of, you know, monster creature thing that was, you know, like a zombie and actually killing humans. And even because I think I suspected right from the start, like, you know, there were bullet casing, like pretty kind of somewhat fresh bullet casings that showed that, you know, someone actually actively tried to kill someone else or something else. That was the thing. Then they actually walked into the room, and I think from the first shot showing the inside of the room showed there were some blood stains on the actual kind of like the actual table thing, and there were even blood stains on the floor and canopy jars too. So I was like, okay, that blood is there, and it also looks fresh too. It doesn't look like it's actually centuries old, or that blood doesn't look like centuries old or dried up or ingrained or anything. It actually looks pretty fresh and looks pretty dark too. So it's probably been here for like maybe been here for a while, but still it's definitely from today, definitely produced today. So then that was like, okay, so that means someone was killed very recently, and they were killed, in like a very disturbing way, like on top of that table, in like a presumably sacrificial, or presumably, I mean, given to the Egyptians, they killed people, they harvested their organs and all that kind of stuff. Or like if people died, then their organs would be harvested and put into canopy jars and everything. So that had to be a thing. And then even that final shot of showing the blood kind of trail leading out, so then someone was clearly dragged out and probably tossed to their deaths down that little kind of pit of doom and everything. So everything pointed, and I think even the bodies in the walls had to be my biggest kind of anxiety kind of thing, like actually just waiting for like some shot of the camera turning around and turning back, or camera kind of getting into place for a body to jump out and grab Steven. Like similar to how that mummy actually kind of grabbed Layla off the ledge and actually dragged her, and then even she tried to actually climb her way out, but then kept getting pulled back in and everything. But then, yeah, then the bodies in the walls, I was like, okay, this is a prime opportunity to have a mummy come to life and try and kill them both, and it's going to be a horrifying thing, and I'm here for it. Like, it very quickly turned into like a reenactment of the mummy. It very quickly turned into a possible reenactment of the mummy, and I loved it. My only wish, I think it should have gone on for longer. It should have gone on for longer, and there should have been more. There should have been more mummies on the horizon. I think one should have been a taste, and then afterwards, like a whole group of them coming out, and then could have had a whole thing where it's like, Marc and Layla caught at a crossroads between Harrow and his men, but then all of a sudden a group of mummies just kind of like jumps off from the ceiling or jumps up from like corner and just kind of hounds them both, but then Marc and Layla make a run for it, and then the mummies are stuck actually being attacked by Harrow's men with the guns and with the weaponry, so then there's like an all-out brawl between them. Like, that would have been a cool continuation. I think it should have gone on for long. I think maybe not for the entire episode, but I think it definitely should have gone on for longer, and then that should have led them both into Alexander the Great's tomb. That should have led them both into the tomb, and then after finishing off the mummies, then Harrow and his men should have actually made it through, and then I think that could have given ample time for them to still have the conversation. But I think then, of course, Layla had to have the conversation with Harrow about how her father had been killed by Marc and his team of mercs and everything. So that then had to happen. So yeah, I don't know. Maybe they could have fit it in someplace else. I don't know, but yeah, either way, like that whole, I think I was hooked into this episode. I was hook, line, and sinkered into the episode from the beginning of that scene, when they started laying all those context clues down of like, fresh blood, canopy jars, bodies in the walls, and protectors of the tomb and all that kind of stuff. Like when they started doing that, and then even showing the body up on the actual upper level and everything, and then when you see the actual kind of figure actually crawling out like through the hallway and actually finding its way into the room, like I was like, okay, this is very quickly turning into The Mummy, and I am here for it. I grew up with those movies. I loved those movies. Those movies are my fucking jam. I'm here for it. So then it didn't really last as long as I'd hoped it would. But yeah, either way, it was still cool. Even having that small portion of the episode actually, smallish portion of the episode actually kind of like, like molded around like a reenactment of The Mummy, or just something to that effect. It gave me kind of Mummy nostalgia. So yeah, but yeah, like even having like a scene kind of molded to like somewhat to that effect was still so good. It was still so good to see. So I don't think, I mean, if they were protectors, I think you naturally imagine there'd be more than one of them. Like one would be dangerous enough, but then actually having a group of them would actually get the job done, and that would be the best way to guard them. So I think actually having more of them coming out from all corners, I think having like being teased by one, but then showing like more of them like in different corners and crevices, or maybe one of them jumping out and doing all that kind of stuff, whatever. Because then I think maybe there would have been two. Then I think maybe there could have been two. Like if Steven did really kind of squish the one under the table of stuff, maybe if he really did squish that one, then maybe then there being a second one is what we saw chasing after later. But then that could have easily led into more of them coming out from different corners and actually chasing after Harrow's men. So I mean, think we had gunfire later on too. We actually had gunfire later on in the episode too. So then, I think that then kind of did imply that there were more. But then I think they faced two. They both individually somewhat kind of faced two. But then Harrow's men are the one, because I think Harrow's men killed like one or two before they came in, so that's why there were bullet casings there, and then they killed them while they were still in there. So I think that then does imply that there were more. But then it would have been cool to see them, and then cool to see them kind of cut off Harrow and his men and Layla and Steven at like an actual crossroads, and then then Layla and Mark actually run off, and then they get shot at by Harrow's men, and then that can lead to like a brawl between them. So it would have been cool to see. But I guess the implication was there, so that's still something. That's something, but still, super awesome aspect of the episode. So yeah, that was fun. And I think to begin it all, we had them kind of narrowly kind of evading other. I mean, I actually don't know for sure if those were Harrow's men, because I feel like Harrow would be okay with Mark dying even if it wasn't by his hand, Mark and Steven dying even if it wasn't by his own hands. But I think on the other hand, I think it probably wouldn't be unusual to run into like a random crew of pirates or bandits or thieves or thugs or whatever. So I think for me there's no 100% guarantee they were Harrow's men, but I think they actively were looking for them because they saw them and they found them and everything, and then they were in that kind of location. So maybe, I don't know, but either way, they took care of them with a flare. Layla took care of them with a flare, so that was cool. But then I think by the time they actually get to the outside of the actual encampment that was set up by Harrow and his people, they start suiting up and everything, and I think we get like little kind of hints and teasers here and there too, like even when he's inside the tent too, I think even him Steven giving off hints that he actually is kind of like he's crushing on Layla, as we all know that he is and everything, because they kind of like intellectually they get on like a house on fire, and Steven's all adorable and shy and everything, and kind of Layla kind of sees to that, and she kind of seeks to that and everything. So there's that, and then of course even he lets it out that he's interested. I think like Mark catches on somehow. He's like, "Oh, are you in love with her? Is that it? You have a little crush on her? You have a crush on my wife and everything." I think that kind of thing that is actually what is kind of curious to think about too, because I think this would be, I feel like that Loki and Sylvia aunties are going to jump onto this and probably try and blaspheme or shame or judge this in some way, because they were hugely against the whole kind of Loki and Sylvie thing that happened in that series and everything. And it's like, oh, he's essentially, it's like self-obsessed, he's making out with himself and he's in love with himself, and that was like a whole kind of like theme running through that. Oh, he's actually the only person perfect for him, and for him it is himself from like another universe, being like another body and like of another gender and everything. So they've built up like an actual considerable kind of share of their own kind of antis, and people who are willing to not only judge them but also judge anyone who follows them and supports them. So I can only imagine how they might treat the whole Steven and Marc thing. Because with this though, I think they face a lot more backlash, because with this is DID. This is like a representation of DID, like an actual mental kind of condition that exists in real life that many different people are affected by in many different ways. So I think there's just no way they can really. I think there's not really very many ways that they can really come after this in a way that won't get them kind of backlashed in pretty severe ways too. Because I think something I've actually read about like DID is that it can also it can also take place in many different forms too. And I think this one like DID, you can have alters of different genders, of different ages, of different kind of identities, like from different places around the world too. Like how Mark is American but then Steven is British and everything. So DID like alters can come in any kind of any kind of representation of any kind of person. So but I think just most of all, I think like DID is like an actual thing. Like it's not a multiverse thing. I hope to God they don't try and chalk it up to it being like multiversal forms of Mark kind of trapped in one body, because then that would be utter BS. But I think with this one, it's not like an alternate universe kind of thing. It's not like a doppelganger kind of thing. It's not like a variant thing. This is a man with DID with actual legitimate alters and other kind of identities living within him, all cohabiting the same body and everything. So I think it's the same body. So can only imagine how they might try and approach if they dare. I can only imagine actually how they actually try and approach this, and if they do dare to actually judge this in the same ways that they've actually judged Loki and Sylvie's kind of thing. Even though they're completely different backgrounds, completely different kind of settings and everything, this is like very much like an actual human being, albeit albeit imbued with the power of the Egyptian gods and everything. But with this one, yeah, I think with this one too, I think I think it's like and I think because of that, it's also probably not important because of the fact that it's like different legitimate identities living within one person. I think it's also like not impossible that because I mean it's also like also because of the fact that it's Stephen too. I think because I think we saw in his little mental limbo thing, I think there was that kind of that movie like Tomb Busters or something like like an actual Tomb Raider kind of like a straight to video version of Tomb Raider or something, Tomb Busters. But then the main character in that, I think with the hair, I thought it was like going to be like a flashback of Arthur Harrison. But then he's American. But then this guy's British, and I think the character called him Dr. Stephen Grant. So I think that's like and that guy's British. So kind of shows us where Mark got Stephen from. That's where he got the idea for Stephen from. Like his actual character, like he's a British character in like an actual movie or series or something. So that's where he actually got the thing from. I think it's kind of been said that like the identities can also. I mean, for Moon Knight, the identity is actually based off of it's meant to be based off of actual Marvel superheroes he's met. Like it's meant to be based off other characters and other heroes within the Marvel universe that he's interacted with, and then their skills also meant to be based off of them. So, I mean, I think even for that too, I think they've really not really mentioned anyone. They have not mentioned anyone else either. I think they've really not gone so far as to name drop any other characters or name drop any other kind of Marvel events. The one thing they've done is connect it to Madripoor, which, as we know, is the Falcon Winter Soldier thing. But they haven't mentioned any other heroes, or they haven't mentioned any history within this too. So I mean, if anything, so far they're not ignoring it. They're just kind of actually focusing on setting Moon Knight up and continuing that story as its own thing. So chances are, I think if this is like a 6-episode series, a season even, then I mean, God knows if there's like a second one on the way, like a second season, like a movie or something on the way. But I think if this is a 6-episode season, then we're cutting seriously close to the end. So then, if that is the case, then they've just gone so far, doing a great job anyway. But they've gone so far without actually mentioning any of the heroes. So I think it kind of makes you wonder if they actually want to if they want to maybe focus on like setting Moon Knight up as its own thing first and foremost, and then maybe in the second season, maybe then if they do a second season, then maybe then they'll actually start connecting to the other heroes and actually start talking about how kind of even as Mark Spector, as a mercenary, he heard stories and he saw different kind of little news clips or something of the Avengers in New York or the Avengers in Sokovia or whatever. Yeah, I think maybe in the second season, if they do want it, then they'll start connecting it to other heroes and everything. I think especially because he actually, in the comics, Moon Knight actually has some really interesting and intriguing interactions with other Marvel characters in the comics too. So it would be kind of cute. It would be cool to actually see like where they go with that. So yeah, but in the case of this one, his DID is very real and it's very legitimate. I think the alters living within him, unique or otherwise, even if they're based on other people, that's for it, that they are very legitimate too. So you can't really. I think I'm not really sure you can actually. Not saying that people should judge either of them, like Loki and Sylvie or Mark and Steven, but I think you definitely really can't kind of approach this or tackle this or actually judge this in any way in the same way either, because I think this is based on like a real thing. I think in real life, I think it probably wouldn't be implausible to say that like partners of a person with DID would probably have been originally in love with like one alter, but then they met another alter that they had no idea about, or like maybe they weren't in love with another alter, but then those kind of stories would always kind of leave you curious as to how that kind of worked and everything. And I think with this one, they're kind of showing that Mark and Layla already had the history of him. The newly revealed history that he was part of a team that killed a team of archaeologists that actually included Layla's father too, Abdullah El-Faouly. So there's that stuff that was revealed, but then of course like his history that like he I think they actually adapted his comic book, his actual comic history too. I think in the comics, I think he also was part of a team of mercs and everything, and then he was shot, I think, by his partner or by someone else, but then I think I don't know if Layla was actually in the comics involved in this too, but I think that he was actually saved by two people who actually dragged him and placed him under the statue of Khonshu, and then Khonshu imbued his power into Mark and saved him and then made him Moon Knight and did the whole thing. So yeah, so I think that actually, I think that they didn't strictly reference that kind of that far in this, but I think they didn't mention how he was shot and he was almost dying, but then Layla saved him, but then he was saved, he was actually saved and stuff. So yeah. Speaking back to the beginning too, like the potential Steven, Mark, and Layla kind of love triangles. I think Steven and Layla kissed. I mean, hey, look, Layla leaned in first. We saw it. Layla leaned in first, and then Mark spoke, and then interrupted. I think Layla is showing clear signs of like being into Steven and actually being attracted to him, and actually kind of showing more of like a fondness for him compared to Mark. I think with Mark, she just has like a complicated history, and now like an even more complicated history because she now knows that he was part of the team responsible for her father's death and everything. But then with Steven's just an innocent little goofball who's also like a huge, kind of adorable kind of fanboy of Egyptian stuff. Like him walking into any ancient Egyptian kind of like environment, and him being like, oh my days, it's this, it's that, it's the other, and everything. Like his oh my days is just like the instant kind of heartwarming and everything. Like him just being so flabbergasted, and him being so gushy and everything. Even him gushing over Layla in the moment too is just like so adorable to see. And then even her, like again, she leaned in first, she went to kiss him first, and then he took the hint, and afterwards he kissed her, and like they kissed, and I think that definitely sent Mark fuming too. Mark actually waited until Layla was out of sight and then actually faced in, and then boom, just one right in the face and everything. And then after that actually took wondering if he actually did like hit Mark a few times, if he actually did hit Steven a few times, because it took Steven like a while to actually come down and everything. So I do wonder if he was actually like, oh, you lay a finger on her and I'll throw us off a cliff. So then he kisses her, and then he just like fully actually boxes himself in the face, and like he literally boxes himself. So yeah, that just, because then I mean, I wonder then, because then obviously Mark would need to be in control, right? Mark would need to be in control to actually punch himself in the face like that. But so then, and then we see like Steven kind of phasing out and then Mark phasing in. So then, does that mean that Mark then took control and punched himself in the face in a way that he knew he could handle it, and then phased back in as Steven to make him feel the pain? I feel like that's probably the only real kind of plausible explanation there too. Like he punches himself in the face and knowing that it's gonna kill for Steven later, then he punches himself and then transforms into Steven and just kind of throws himself down the pit and everything. So I don't know, but either way, yeah, I think I mean I didn't even know exactly how you look at that either, because then I think on like a baseline level that would be like a man kissing another man's wife, and it's like again same body, like even Layla observed that too, like same body, like they smell the same too, so different facial expressions, different voice, different identity, and different like outlooks on things, but still same body and everything. So and it's like the same kind of face she's looking at ish and everything. So I don't know, but yeah, I think if they are going down the whole kind of love triangle route, then that's gonna be interesting to see unfold. It's gonna be interesting, and I think especially with Jake on the way too, with Jake on the way, it's going to be even more interesting. So yeah, I guess we'll just kind of see how it unfolds. But clearly Mark isn't taking Steven's kind of attraction and fondness towards Layla too lightly. So yeah, but I think it's also good to see in that final scene where she actually wanted to confront Mark. She actively wasn't even pissed off at Steven. She was like, oh no, I need to talk to Mark. I need to talk to Mark now. And then Mark came out, and then they had that little thing. So I think if anything, it's good to. I think. But that's, I think if anything, it's good to see that once Mark and Steven come back, I think Layla will at least be happy to see Steven back, even if she's still going to be pissed off at Mark. So yeah, and we discover the history about her father, Abdullah El-Faouly. So El-Faouly, not El-Faouly. I think I don't know why when I read these types of names, like my brain it immediately insists on actually pronouncing every letter, which is such. I feel like that's such a Western thing to do. Like being born and raised here in the UK, I feel like that's such a Western thing to do. Literally think that every letter needs pronouncing, and like when you're saying the name, every letter, like the person hearing you say it needs to be made aware of every letter. So I just like, oh, El-Faouly or something, but no, El-Faouly, Abdallah El-Faouly. So yeah, and then Layla El-Faouly. So yeah, So yes, we found out about her father, and he was a part of the team of archaeologists too. And I think we remember back from episode 1 when those detectives looked into Mark Spector's criminal record. He was a mercenary, but then he was also probably most notably, or at least like his most recent crime, was actually being a part of the team that actually captured the archaeologists and actually zip tied their heads and then shot them in the back of the head, execution style. So he executed them. But then in this one, we find out that he was actually part of a team too. He was part of a team, and he was there, but he wasn't the one directly who pulled the trigger. Like his partner got greedy and actually killed the rest of the archaeologists off, and he wanted more, and I think he wanted to kind of wipe them off the map and everything. So he did that, but then I think maybe then that is the case. Maybe he tried to stop them, and maybe he got shot by his partner too for having a change of heart and actually resisting and everything. So then that's what happened, and then he almost died, and he got saved by conscience. I can't remember if they actually directly referenced it, but I think I'm trusting that they actually did go the same. Because then even Khonshu directly said too in I think in the second or third episode, even he mentioned like, oh, you were on the verge of death and I saved your life, so this body doesn't belong to you, this body belongs to me. So I think that then connects with this, and then I think that then does go to show that he was dying, and then by others he was actually saved and placed under the statue of Khonshu, and then Khonshu connected to him and saved his life and turned him into the Moon Knight. So yay. But then, of course, Layla hearing that news for the first time too, her hearing it from Arthur, who's like a master manipulator. He knows how to get under your skin, and he knows how to tell you stuff and tell you what you need to hear and what you want to hear and everything. So, her finding out this from Arthur and everything, and then even being led to that conclusion by Arthur doesn't help. So then she needs to actually confront Mark about it and actually tell him, and then even finding out that that's how they actually initially met too, because of guilt and because of like grief and everything. Doesn't really help his case and everything. So is not necessarily the best final meeting they could have had before she heard him being shot to death by Arthur. So a very, very sad story. So but I think at the very least, I think along with actually providing backstory for her and for him, I think it did definitely kind of still help to connect this to the comics with giving Mark like the same kind of backstory of how he tried to actually, I think even to begin with, he tried to save someone. He even to begin with, he actually tried to resist and tried to go against his team's kind of motives and orders, and still tried to actually save the people instead. But then I think even him as a mercenary too, I think maybe even he also just kind of knew he was good, because I think in the comics he actually served in the Marines. I think in the comics he actually served in the army, so that kind of made him the ideal candidate to be a merc and everything. But then he still, knowing him, he wasn't like a heartless merc who was only in it for the money. I think he knew how to survive, and he used that to his advantage. But then I think he still didn't kill anyone who probably didn't deserve it, or probably didn't he drew a line somewhere. He still had morals, he still had like a code and ethics and stuff, so then he still wanted to save them because they didn't deserve to die. But then his partner was on the opposite end of the spectrum, and then he ended up dying because of that, so, or at least being on the verge of death because of that. So so then of course, Mark dies, and it's all one body, so you might as well consider Steven and Jake potentially dead too. But I think even that shot too, like he fell into the water, but then I think the kind of the kind of mentality, for lack of a better word, the mentality of that shot showed him sinking further and further into the water until what looked like moonlight showed up, but then it would turn out to be a flashlight, and then it cut to the other kind of tomb busters kind of footage and everything. And then we enter Steven's little mind palace, his little mental limbo / mind palace type place. And initially, I can't lie to you, like my thought initially was, oh, maybe this has all been some kind of like really weird and really messy kind of hallucination, and nothing we've seen is real, and he's created some kind of adventure in his head based off of the things that he's seen in the institute that he's now in. And then I thought, oh, maybe this was actually back when Mark was institutionalized, and maybe he escaped, or maybe he got left or something. But no, but then I think the further into it you go, you realize, oh, this is actually him in his own mind. This is Mark in his own mind. Could even be how Mark feels when he's trapped away in his own mind, because then he even said before in episode 2, he actually mentioned like how sometimes it takes all of your willpower just to be a fly on the wall, but then the more they crossed and the more they intersected and the more they allowed access, the walls became weaker. So then Mark was allowed to and be a fly on the wall a lot more easily and a lot more often. So this could very easily be seen as like back in episode 1 when Mark was barely there. that could have been what it was, like in his own little mind palace, actually struggling to come out, actually struggling to phase in and out and everything. So yeah, but no, I think now that he's dead, I think now that he's pretty much on the verge of death once more, I think it's a lot easier to kind of look at it and kind of see that to see that Mark is now back in his own mind palace, and now he's in like a mind palace of of faces of pretty much everything he knows. He's seen faces he's seen before. He's seen icons and symbols, and he's like holding like a Moon Knight action figure and everything, and even Harrow is the psychiatrist. Harrow's the doctor supposedly treating him, but then even Harrow has his stuff. He has his cane, his glasses. I think he doesn't wear glasses, but I think he has his cane, he has his sandals, he has the army kind of statue on his desk, and he has the canopy jars and everything. So I think everything he's seeing in there slowly reminds him of what happened, and he looks at Harrow and he realizes, oh, you shot me, you tried to kill me, so now I got to escape, and then he does. So yeah. But then he does end up actually making it into like a room with a sarcophagus in it, and then out comes none other than your boy, the one and only, your boy Steven Grant. So Steven and Marc actually physically and individually meet face to face for the first time, and I love that their first ever interaction in that way, in a way that they can actually touch each other without it being like a self-inflicted thing. I love that their first interaction was to hug. Their first interaction, not even Mark punching Steven, not even Mark being still pissed at Steven, not even hostility or reluctance. Like the first time they meet, they hug it out like bros. They actually legitimately hug it out like bros. And I love that that's actually their first interaction. Then afterwards they actually try and find a way to escape together and everything. So that was just super heartwarming to see and everything. So that's their first time, Steven and Mark meeting in their own minds and everything. So that was cool. And then of course we actually had a hint. We had a tease at Jake Lockley. We had a hint to tease a tease at him. I think when they were running down the corridor, there was actually like another room with an open door that showed like another sarcophagus. This time standing upright and like an even dark kind of almost blood red that was just angrily rocking about and everything. So Jake was in there just kind of bursting to get out and probably start punching people up or something. So yeah, so Jake was in there. Jake is still locked away. He's still locked away. I think this is a sign that he's actually kind of close to breaking free and close to breaking out and everything. So I think maybe next episode might be the one that Jake comes out. I think maybe then Jake might be the key. Maybe then Jake might be the key to actually breaking free, but then also actually bringing Jake back into the real world with them too. Might be the key to actually defeating Harrow, because then if he can transform, if he can actually let Jake take control, free of with Layla, free from harm. If he can let Jake take control, Jake would likely be murking all of them to death. Just, I think Mark put up a good fight. Mark put up a good fight with Hatchet. I think he beheaded someone probably and, did some other stuff and then actually swung it straight into someone's chest. But then, I think Jake would easily just, he'd be speed running that whole thing. He would be speed running that entire tomb within seconds. So I feel like actually bringing Jake out, having Jake be, since Jake is canonically Mr. Knight too, maybe even having Jake be Mr. Knight once they get the powers back and everything might be the key to defeating Harrow before he frees army and everything, and actually taking out all the other people. So yeah, but Jake is known to be the most violent one. I think Jake is known to be the most violent one and the one with the most violent tendencies. But then whether or not that actually makes him like an evil version, or maybe if he's just like really overprotective, or maybe if he's just like a really kind of angry kind of dude who actually cares fiercely about the ones in his life, I personally don't know yet. So all I've heard is he's a cab driver, so that's his profession. Like Steven, gift shopist, Mark, mercenary, and Jake, the cab driver. So as their professions, but I think the only other thing I know about him is that he is immensely violent. He has violent tendencies more so than Mark. So, because of that, he's capable of handling himself. He's capable of actually taking out any threats, and then that could mean that he's the ideal person to actually become the new kind of Mr. Knight and everything, and actually kind of solve this thing. But then whether or not he's actually bad or evil or actually problematic in some way is kind of yet to be seen. The fact that he attacks as ruthlessly and as brutally as he does is problematic in itself, but then whether or not he uses that kind of violence for good to actually protect people or to actually senselessly kill people around him is yet to be seen. So yeah, because then we've seen what Mark can do from episode 1. Mark kind of took people out, like, not ruthlessly, like it's not like the entire town was painted red, but I think he still took people out quickly and efficiently and in like a kind of really quick and like less messy kind of way. But then with Jake, I wonder if he actually relishes in violence or if he's just kind of really kind of proficient at it or something. So I guess it's yet to be seen. It's yet to be seen. So unlocking Jake undoubtedly has to happen in the next episode, and then I don't even know if he's going to be too violent for Mark and Steven to handle, and if they're going to have to like tag team him or something, and they're going to have to actually get him under control before they reveal the situation. But yeah, I don't know. I guess we'll have to wait and see. So yeah, and yeah, I think the very final shot of very final shot of the episode being them. I thought meat. I thought no. I think not. I mean, for a second I thought meat, but then I thought no. That's he's like they've never been the avatars of meat. They've been the avatars of Khonshu. I think maybe through some, maybe it'll be like they see Khonshu, but then the actual mental manifestation of Khonshu. So maybe not the actual Khonshu because he's still trapped away in his idol. But then because Mark's been under the influence, because they've now both been under the influence of Khonshu for so long. Maybe Khonshu now has his own place beyond just an action figure or even idol, like some iconography. Like maybe he actually has a place in Mark's mind beyond just that. Maybe he actually has his own kind of like a manifestation. Maybe it's like another manifestation of them, but in the form of Khonshu. So maybe it's like an inside voice in the form of Khonshu and everything. But no, it's a completely different kind of, presumably like a different kind of god. Because I think the gods in ancient Egyptian mythology are actually based off animals too. So I think the actual kind of figures of gods are actually animals in Egyptian kind of clothing and the actual makeup and everything. So with this one, apparently it's a hippo. Apparently it's a hippo. So and then I think even the voice is like a nice kind of like a feminine sounding, nice kind of light voice, like not something angry and booming and everything. It's just like a feminine voice. I think I can't lie to you. I think the first thought when she said hi, the first thought when that voice said hi in as light and feminine as the voice they had, my first thought was Gloria from Madagascar. My first thought was ever so slightly Gloria from Madagascar, but dressed in the way that this goddess was. So I don't know what that really says about me, but but yeah, then the goddess was nice enough to actually say hi and to greet them ever so lightly, and then Mark and Steven all of a sudden just start screaming at the top of their lungs. So yeah, that's how they're doing. They've just met yet another. They've met like what could either be a god, like an actual god in their mind, or even like another manifestation of said god in their mind. And now they start screaming. So I think now it's gonna be good to see, good to find out who that god is. Like a god, like an ancient Egyptian god. But I think should I Google that? Should I Google? I think maybe I'll just quickly Google exactly what kind of gods there are first. I mean, I'm trusting there's a lot, but maybe I might get lucky with the search results. Oh, okay. So, and apparently this very god is trending because of episode 4 of Moon Knight, because they were featured in this. So, yeah, okay. So Taweret, Taweret. So it's gonna take me a while to actually deal with the pronunciation, obviously. But yeah, Taweret is depicted as having the features of a hippo, a lion, and a crocodile, with her face embodying hippo. Known for her protection of mothers and children, with her image frequently used seen on tools used by midwives during childbirth. Okay, that's interesting. So, okay. So she's so often associated with the goddess Hathor. Okay, so we've already met the avatar of Hathor. And even the avatar stated that Hathor and Khonshu themselves were actually closely connected back in their time. So maybe this could be like a similar connection, either a connection like a mutual connection between like them having like a mutual connection in Hathor, like of Taweret and Khonshu, or it could be that Taweret and Khonshu had their own connection that allows Taweret into Mark's mind, like him being the avatar and everything. So that's interesting. Okay. So in addition to representing fertility, the goddess was also a symbol for rebirth and rejuvenation. So maybe just maybe she might be involved in him actually being brought back to life again. So maybe the first time he's brought back to life by Khonshu and his power, but this time could be brought back to life by Taweret and Ab. I mean, I don't think that means he's I mean, I don't know. I mean, he's still going to be Moon Knight. So I think if I don't know if that specifically means that he might be imbued with her power instead. But I think maybe because she has the power to bring people back, maybe she might use her power to bring him back, but maybe not imbue him with her power. So yeah, huh. So that's interesting then. So yeah, so he's gonna be actually brought back to life by yet another Egyptian god with the power of life and nurturing, and also now with some rebirth and resurrection powers on the side. So that's gonna be interesting to see. So yeah, I trust that it's not gonna be like a one and done thing. I actually really would like it if they could actually stay in this kind of in this institute place. With Mark and Steven potentially leading them up to unlocking Jake as well, and then maybe learning more about the gods and their powers and their connections to their avatars through Taweret too. Maybe see if she has an avatar, or maybe if she has information on Khonshu and Amit and all the other gods and everything, and actually seeing what how she's able to access kind of Mark's mind as well. So actually having some time spent in this place before leaving, going to the real world. Actually, because I think maybe if this really is a mental limbo representing all the stuff that they've encountered so far, I feel like this also might be the best way for us to learn more about Mark and his history as a person before the DID and even soon after the DID too. Actually kind of actually exploring his history and finding out what gave him this and what made him this way, and actually kind of finding out who he was before all of this, and seeing how his connection is strengthened by by Steven and possibly even Jake too. So seeing how everything came to be might only be possible through this. So it'll be fun to see where they go. It'll be fun to see what direction they take this in, and how much more we can learn this way. So yeah, very intrigued by all this. So yeah, and I think for Harrow too, it's actually kind of interesting, because I think this is the first time we've seen him kill someone without using Army's powers. I think this is the first time we've seen him kill someone by his own hand, him actively shooting Mark to death. I think this is the first time we've actually seen him do that himself. And then his line following that too, I can't save anyone who doesn't want to be saved or can't save themselves or something. So I think he doesn't want to save someone who's actually so resistant to his powers and so hesitant to communicate or use that thing. And I think for him the main mission is Army. So I think he also can't save anyone, or actually can't recruit anyone who isn't willing to accept Army's way and actually accept her way as the be all and end all too. Because for him, Army's way is the be all and end all. He tried Khonshu's thing, and I think he disagreed with it, and now he's moved on to Army, who he believes has a more efficient way of enacting justice and inflicting justice. I think for him it's Army or nothing. So anyone who disagrees with them can die, and I think anyone who doesn't pass her kind of judgment can also kind of die, but through the actual power of Army too. So yeah, I think for him too. I think he saw enough of a rivalry with there being with Mark and Steven both being kind of connected avatars of Khonshu. So I think he saw enough kind of competition there. But now with Mark, even without Khonshu's influence, Mark still actively resisting him, and actually nailing down a few of his men too. I think that kind of showed him that Mark is now too far gone to be saved even without Khonshu's influence. And then best thing for him to do is just take him out of the picture. So now he actively took matters into his own hands too. So then yeah, But I mean, I would then question maybe if him taking another life would be because then that would be murder. Because then regardless that would be murder. But then I think maybe because he's taking out someone who's in his way of resurrecting Army, maybe he sees it as justified. And maybe Army would see it as justified too. Because then Army, I think, then clearly kind of is at odds and at ends with. I mean, maybe clearly, maybe not clearly, but I think she's quite possibly at ends and at odds with Khonshu too. So maybe even his avatar, power or no power, maybe his avatar would also still prove to be kind of like an actual kind of like a stick in the mud. So like a thing in the way. So maybe then actually taking Mark out of the picture might be justifiable to her. Maybe it wouldn't be something that she'd be against. But then her avatar taking it into his own hands to kill someone else to actually commit murder that way. I think I'm kind of wondering maybe if that would be the best thing, maybe because then maybe she doesn't condone actual murder, but then because then she's the one judging, she's the one actively judging. But then of course he already tried it with Mark before. He and with that one he tried it with Mark with the power of Khonshu's side, but then he wasn't judging Khonshu, he was judging Mark and Steven. So then with that one he already tried judgment and it didn't work. There was too much chaos inside him, so then that still doesn't work. So then maybe then you know, with that one. But then I still wonder maybe if Army would want him to wait until she can be powerful enough to judge him, or if she would still accept her own avatar, using his own hands to kill someone instead of her power and her judgment. Because then Moon Knight still uses the power from Khonshu to inflict that justice, like the actual healing armor, the crescent darts, the the kind of combat that's actually his own and everything. But then even that, I think, I mean, even then he probably still doesn't really kill. Like the only thing he's probably really killed as Moon Knight is probably. I mean, well, no, I think that can't be entirely true, because then he did still impale the dudes with the sticks in the last episode. So he does kill when necessary, and as like an actual, like a thing he does to prevent like further uprisals. So yeah, but I don't know. I mean, the one thing that I feel like the one thing that would actually make Army like a more fleshed out and more kind of grey area kind of character would be her being like, you can die so long as I'm the one judging. If you die from other kind of stuff like murder, then murder is also still like an actual punishable thing. So maybe then Army might kind of, would she end up judging her own avatar, like oh, you used your own hands to kill someone, and like that still counts as murder. But then if you had actually used my cane to judge him, then I don't know, but because again he tried it and it didn't work, so I don't know if now would be any different because Khonshu's not in his head, but or maybe it's because maybe it's because Jake was always there, but then in episode 1 he literally couldn't identify it. Maybe it's like like there's chaos inside you in the sense that there's multiple identities living in you, but then and also because Khonshu's voice is in your head too, but then maybe because Jake wasn't as prominent as before, but then he was still like an actual blurry identity that hadn't fully manifested or actually hadn't fully kind of come out yet inside of him. Maybe then it's because Army couldn't actually kind of identify all the kind of identities within him and actually judge them fairly, but then also because there's multiple people, so then you don't know who you're judging and then actually what you're judging. So a lot of different variables, a lot of different kind of variables kind of coming into play with this one. So I don't know, but either way, Arthur, for the first time that we've seen, he actually killed someone himself. He actually took it into his own hands and killed someone. So, but yeah, so far that is pretty much all I've got. So it was a very eventful episode, a very, very kind of big, mind-boggling episode. Great horror factor, great kind of drama, great different twists and reveals and everything, and then the ending too just sets up so many questions and actually definitely leaves you wanting more, or at least leaves me wanting more. Definitely kind of left me actually not really waiting to be able to see, feeling like I can't wait to be able to see exactly where this goes and how this leads into the next episode and everything. So I can't wait. This is setting up to be like a great story and everything, and I definitely after this episode I actually all the more want to actually check out the comics and everything. I discovered a website online that actually kind of lets you find the actual kind of appropriate kind of reading order for comics, because for comics there's so fucking many, there's so many alternate universes, alternate timelines, different interactions and different series and volumes and everything. There's just so fucking much to get through. You don't even know where to start, let alone what to actually kind of what to read and everything. So yeah, so I think this episode has just kind of left me all the more wanting to actually get into some Moon Knight stories in the comics and see what to see what to make of them, and not just to see how accurate this adaptation is, but actually to see what the actual comic run of Moon Knight was like, and then how they explored the character and how they created him and how they wrote his stories out and everything. So yeah, that is going to be a journey too. I'm just going to add that to the backlog of comics I've already got building up nice and readily. So yeah, but that is pretty much all I've got from this one. So yeah, any details I've missed out on, anything you guys want to share, the comments are open. So I would love to hear what you thought of this and how you felt and what you think of Moon Knight so far and where you think they're headed and what you'd like to see, and or your thoughts on this episode just in general. So that would be cool. But yeah, that was Moon Knight Season 1, Episode number 4. So thank you guys as always so much for being here and for watching this video. If you guys enjoyed it, then feel free to leave a like and comment what your thoughts are on this episode and how you feel going forward and everything. For those interested, full-length reaction over on Patreon, so you can go check that out over there. And yeah, that is pretty much it. So until next time, bye bye for now.